Good evening, everyone, and I now call Leeton Shire Council July 2025 Ordinary Council meeting to order. The time is 6:32 p.m. Thank you. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our councillors, staff and members of the gallery. We have two there, and the viewers online. Welcome everybody here tonight. I remind everyone that in the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, this meeting of the Leeton Shire Council is to be streamed live on council social media accounts, and then the recording will be uploaded on council's website later. Please make us a Pacific prayer. Councillor Edwards, please. All stand, please. Thank you.
Do we need somebody? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
An item from Councillor Michael Kidd.
Leeton Shire Council acknowledges the Wiradjuri people and their continued impact on our community. We acknowledge their connection to the land, water and sky. We acknowledge all Aboriginal people who have made Leeton Shire their home. And as such, we pay our respects to all Aboriginal elders, past, present and emerging in our Shire.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. Are there any apologies or councillors online for tonight's meeting, General Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have an apology for lateness from Councillor Mayton, and Councillor Tiffin is online this evening.
Thank you, General Manager. Please, can I have a move and a second of that, please? Councillor, right, and seconded by Councillor Kidd.
Yeah, I'd like to speak against the motion.
Right.
I'm speaking against it because I believe that Councillor Tiffin should be attending council meetings in person on a more regular basis.
Thank you very much. All right. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Those against? Thank you very much. Moving on to confirmation of minutes and any meeting arising. Council recommendation is that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on Monday, the 30th of June, 2025, as circulated, be taken as read and confirmed. Can I have a move and a seconder for that? Move of Councillor Kidd. Second by Councillor Tynan. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Next part is disclosure of interests, and I'd just like to stand up and do one first. I've George Weston, 8.2.1 capital works. The first one or the second one is in regard to the Roxy. I am the mechanical contractor for Roxy 2. Pecuniary conflict of interest. So I will stand aside and I'll ask the Deputy Mayor to stand in for that moment when we get to that point. That is 8.2.1. Anybody else? Conflict? Councillor Nardi.
Thank you. I also have a conflict of interest declaration on item 8.2.1 in the project of the Roxy. One of my family members actually owns the building that is leased as a PMO office. So I'd just like to declare a less than significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest. Thank you.
Good. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against?
Okay, thank you.
Next item is 7.2 Mayor Minute. It's on page 35. Council recommendation is in front of you. Do I have I'm a mover. Any discussion? Second by Councillor Kidd.
Just moved by you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, right. Yep. So, yeah. Any discussion? Councillor Kidd.
Would like to make a comment, Mayor. With regards to the LG New South Wales cost shifting report.
That's the next one, Councillor Kidd. The next one.
So combined. No, okay.
Okay, my friend,
You say me too.
but just double check. Just double check. Not sure. Sure there was- No, I said, yeah, good. Keep put off the mic.
Yeah. I'm happy to add comment to one of those.
Right, so we're on the, we're on to that part of it. So we're moving this, I moved it.
Devon did too.
Those in favour?
Yes.
Those against? No. Then the second part, with regard to, the, cost shifting. Put it forward, any discussion? Okay. Sorry, councillor McKee.
Just a point of clarification, and procedure. Do we have to move the motion first and then we can discuss, or can we just?
This is a mirror minute.
Oh, yeah, it's a mirror.
The mayor-
Don't worry.
That's okay, that's good. Councillor Kidd, you wanted to say something?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Sometimes the goalpost gets shifted on us, Councillor Edwards. They do. Just a opinion, and councillors don't have to agree with me on this, they may choose to. With the essential points with the cost shifting report as done commissioned by LG New South Wales and written by Morrison and Lowe, this shows a greater increase in the last, basically post-COVID, to cost shifting, primarily by the state government to local councils. We're looking at now a total of 1.5 billion in cost shifting, increase of 10% since COVID. The headline figure is $497.40 per ratepayer. That's fine, that's an average across New South Wales. If you're in a regional town or city such as Wagga or Albury, they get off pretty well, relatively, best of the best, the worst, at about $429. In a large rural council, and guess who's a large rural council? Good old Leeton. We are disadvantaged to the sum of $571 per ratepayer per year, or $142 more than if we lived in Albury, Wagga or Dubbo, for argument's sake. That's a pretty big impost. Now, I actually worked that out as against what I calculated as the general fund component of my rates for this year, and that comes in at 53%. So 53% of what my wife and I are contributing to the general fund is actually propping up mainly state government legislation or entities. And that's becoming ridiculous. In fact, it's to a point, I mean, I don't mind paying for sewage or water, lovely glass of water, being able to push a button and the sewage is gone, someone collecting my rubbish each week. Fantastic. I don't have a problem with that. But 53% just propping up other people's mistakes, or not so much mistakes. As part of local government, we have to actually, if we want to move a motion that has financial implications, we actually have to find where that money's coming from. Much easier for higher levels of government because they just pass it down to the next one, federal to state, state to councils. So I think it's just time that people were aware that this sort of thing's happening. It does have an impact on everything we do. We can be really, really efficient. We can try hard. Our staff work hard. They do fantastic work. They've, later on, if you look at the investment reports, they're managing our investments and things much better than the budget. But we are being burdened unnecessarily in this. Thank you for your time and indulgence, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. Councillor Edwards.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a question in regards to this motion, and I feel like I might be foreshadowing maybe an amendment to the motion. Just a question first. Do we have any like particular figures on how much cost shifting costs Leeton Council, ratepayers in itself, or do we have a general idea, or if that's too hard?
Average is 571 for only a little.
Leeton Shire in particular.
Only 11.
Mr Mayor, don't have a figure tonight. If I'd been asked that before, I could have calculated it, but happy to take it on notice.
Thank you.
Any more discussion?
Thank you.
Morris.
Yes, thank you, Councillor, Mr Mayor. And I was just probably reinforcing what my thoughts that Councillor Kidd did reiterate. And that's just regarding, we've all seen a contribution towards state government increase as we've been forced with you know, a number of services that we've had no choice in. It's something that I think as part of local government New South Wales, they really have to canvass at state and federal levels, because this is just getting unaffordable, and it's not fair to us, the ratepayers out in this end of the world. I did notice on page 50 where they've alluded to, you know, unlike an insurance premium, council rate notices do not separately disclose the amounts allocated and paid. And this gives the example of the state emergency services contribution. Where I'm going with that is, so, you know, a normal ratepayer wouldn't understand that all that cost, when we talk about cost shifting, what it actually means. The first 550 of their actual land rates are for government services that have been forced upon us to deliver with no funds coming from state government. And that's very true. I mean, it'd be ideal to, I know it's a lot of work, but, you know, if state government actually had to put on our rates notices to them, so people can understand a little more fully of the dilemma. But yes, I just think something, Mr Mayor, that we need to, you know, not let go of. Canvas local government New South Wales, it has to be a major sticking point, and especially for rural and regional councils.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
Before I put the motion, any more discussion? I'd just like to say we've come a long way from roads, rates and rubbish, and the local government New South Wales has identified there's been cost shifting going on. So that's great. So I'll put the motion. All in favour? Aye. Those against? Thank you very much. All right, moving on to corporate matters. Page 89. Just give you time to get there. The recommendation is in front of you that council notes the information contained in the investment report in June 2025. Do I have a mover or a seconder? Councillor Kidd, second. Right. Any discussion? Councillor Kidd.
Mr Mayor, I'd just like to congratulate the staff. For the year, they have actually exceeded the forecast on interest. So that means a lot of work behind the scenes with their investments and shifting council funding around from one account to another. Fantastic work there. And I also note, though the weather might have had something to do with it, our sales of investment water was up significantly as well. So again, two areas that have been really well managed by our staff, and thank you, Harvey and your crew for the hard work you do. It is appreciated at my end at least. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion? I'll put the motion. All in favour? Those against? Carried. Next item is on page 101. I just want to ask you, my fellow councillors, this is in regard to the draft revised policies that we have. There's 10 there in front of you. If you'd like to do all 10 together, or would you like to take some out of this and deal with them separately? You have, Councillor Edwards?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to discuss the financial hardship policy separately to the other policy suites.
That's number 5 in the recommendation, is that right?
Number 5.
Yeah, can we put it to one side? Any other ones you want to put to one side?
8.1.2.6, I have a question about this is one rating agency.
Which draft policy is that one?
That's
Overdraft policy.
Yeah.
page 176.
Yeah, fair. Sorry, no, page 101, we're talking about council policy review. There's 10 draft revised policies we've got in front of us. Page 101.
It's the investments policy.
Page is that?
It's number 6, the investments policy. The time is
Number 6, right, good, we'll put them on one side. Any other policies need to be pulled to one side?
I'm happy to move them in toto otherwise.
Local procurement policy. Talk about.
All right.
the local preference policy.
Yeah, the local
One,
preference.
yes.
Number 7.
7, yes. Through you, Mr. Mayor, just in regards number 1, the risk appetite statement. It typically always used to be confidential, but we had dollar figures in the old version. This new version doesn't have dollar figures anymore, so if council's agreement, I would suggest that that recommendation, we remove confidential and put it out in the public arena for consultation purposes.
All right, have we all agreed with that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so before we get a motion put forward, I'm looking for a motion which will take in 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 and 10. You right?
Yes.
So,
Okay, Mr. Mayor.
No, that will be in
Together.
bulk,
Yeah,
right, and then we'll do one at a
No,
time.
no.
I need a mover for 1, 2, 3 and 4, 8, 9, 10. Councillor Tong, Councillor Nardi. Good, thank you. All right, any discussion? All in favour? Right, we'll do one at a time. First one will be number 5, financial hardship policy. Do I have a move in a second to discuss it? Moved by Councillor Tyler, seconded by Councillor Edwards. On. On,
Oh, sorry.
you move the motion.
Yes.
I think.
Move the motion that will be
councillor
adopted
had a comment.
or discussion.
I have some questions
You move the motion to
to possibly think about
adapt.
adapt.
All right. Are you moving the motion because when you move the motion, it'll go on draft for 28 days. But do you want to say something at this policy at this moment in time?
Okay, so what I'm learning here is I can probably say the same thing after it goes back out.
Yeah. You've got 28 days, yes.
Through you, Mr. Mayor,
To deal with.
if the councillor wants some clarification, it would be good to ask it now before it goes out.
Yep.
And just for all the other councillors' sake, it's on page 152.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep, go ahead.
On page 162, there is talks about the individual for sorry, 160. Hardship application for individuals. When I looked at this policy compared to for pensioners sign a form that allows the council to make various inquiries of government agencies. I was actually just wondering why a similar declaration isn't included for the hardship application of individuals. I will go and read the description.
I'll pass on to one of the directors. Just give
Can you give me the exact
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, so
page?
page 168, this is for the hardship.
Yes,
Page 1. Information provided on this form is private confidential. If you go down to halfway, it says, I understand that the department will disclose personal information to council, including my name, because council can seek advice from Centrelink DVA and those sorts of things. I'm just wondering if a similar consent should be attached to the hardship application for individuals, because I'm wondering if some of those criteria in there, for example, bank statements or whatever, is it possible that some of those could be inflated to some degree to promote a favourable outcome from council? I'm just wondering the declaration for.
okay, through you, Mr. Mayor, so just considering this a bit off the cuff. So it's requesting the ability to be able to disclose someone's personal information to Centrelink or the like as we review the hardship policy, and you're suggesting that should apply to an individual, not just for pensioner concession rebates.
Yes.
So this has never been an issue before, but certainly I can't think of any great reason not to include it. So we could certainly consider that. If the rest of the councillors would have a view on that, we can then add it in.
That's a good question.
So can we,
Yeah, can I?
just 2 seconds, councillor.
Question when you're ready.
Just 2 seconds, I just want to clarify something, because as you know, this is a brand new motion, right? Which is the front part of it, I believe. The council endorses the following draft policies for public exhibition trade day, and if no substantial feedback received, the policy will go ahead. So you're talking about amending some part of it. So we might need a motion to say that one, it goes out 28 days plus a part 2 to amend it.
Just that particular one,
Yeah.
yes.
Right, yeah. So, my fellow councillors, do you understand what councillor Tyler has asked us to do? Yes. Not some questions, right? Yeah. All right, good. First of all, councillor Wright, followed by councillor.
Thank you. Can I just clarify directly to the councillor, Mr. Mayor? Your concern with the way it's currently arranged is that pensioners are subject to a higher level of scrutiny than others. Is that is a sense of fairness what's motivating this? Is that what's, yeah, okay. Not that I'm concerned that, I mean, I in principle agree with you. I just wonder, for me, if we're going to make things fair, I prefer to have less scrutiny on private information of individuals, but then I'm also concerned that it may actually hinder our ability to give a rebate. So is that the case for you, Mr. Mayor, to the General Manager? How does the rebate process work? Are we applying, is the council applying for it on behalf of the pensioner and then just directly deducting it from their rates bill?
Through Mr. Mayor, in terms of the exact process, I'll ask the Director of Corporate, but because this is about a pensioner rebate, there's immediately a government department involved. With the hardship application for individuals, it doesn't mean that there's necessarily a government department involved, and there is the risk that if that clause was added to the hardship application for individuals, it might prevent some individuals from coming forward to try and get a matter resolved because they feel uncomfortable.
Whether
Yes.
their personal information is going to be divulged
Yes.
to council, and that, yeah.
So what, just to, because this is sort of happening on the floor, Mr. Mayor, I'm just wondering whether one approach might be to put, when we do the consultation on this, to put 2 options out to consult about, just so that there's, we're not sticking with one or the other, and we've got time to think, we've got time to ring the Office of Local Government, do a bit of background homework, then at least your suggestion can still be consulted on, but we're not just consulting on one or the other.
Any of them.
I would just say
Never had to deal with
sort of comment about this.
rare.
I would just want to ask,
Please, everybody, just
in addition to allowing consultation on multiple options, I personally feel like I would benefit, because if we're going to vote on this again in 28 days, I'd like to see perhaps just a short analysis of both options from the community staff, because I'm not sure that a consultation process from the public would actually enlighten me any much more on whether I believe in one or the other. I really would like to see a professional.
that's all right. Well, I might let councillor Tim say some few words as well. I'm thinking because we've got 28 days, we can put our own submission in, but we need more background to it.
And we
maybe
can bring it
a
back.
bit more time.
Yeah.
We can do it if
Yeah.
councillor Tyler is happy.
In that case, should this question be slightly differently worded to say that it won't automatically go into effect?
Correct.
the moment,
Yep.
I'm gathering information or not information. People seek information. Councillor Tiffin, you seeking information?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I think they're two different issues. Like pensioner rebates are a process, whereas financial hardship policy is about making provision for people when they're struggling. And we've just heard from ID, and people are struggling, and we have a low median income, and cost of living has gone up. And I think we should come from a position of trust. So we don't want to be making people feel like we're going to go through their personal records and their bank accounts before we, give them an extra 3 months to pay their rates. I think it's against the spirit of why we offer financial hardship. But yeah, I guess we need to do a bit of exploration about what it would actually mean to interrogate every single person who might come to us for help before we made a decision.
I'm thinking, councillor, to find clarification of what your motion is. Are you asking the question, councillor?
Well, I'm just looking at some hurdles.
Again, at the moment, I'm just.
That's not for and against. It's about identifying hurdles to this process.
I have to suggest, councillors, that current motion is to pass this for 28 days with an added section in for ratepayers. If you move in a second, is happy to drop that part back out of your motion and go back to the original motion as it goes for 28 days. And in that time, we'll seek more clarifications about that particular part.
And then we'll have to put it back out for 28 days again.
So what I'm saying, if you move in a second as happier, not to add that additional requirement, if you drop it out of your motion, you can debate that motion, and in 28 days, we'll get more information for you. So you're actually going back to square one. Josh, just second that?
Oh, I have another question after.
I'm asking
a question from here, within a second. Would you do that or not? Yes. Second it? Right. Now, my fellow councillors, we're back to square one in front of you. That is, that it goes on exhibition for 28 days. There'll be submissions, and the general manager will bring more information back in regard to that part of the question that was asked by councillor.
And then after that, if we would like to make changes, we'll then pull it out.
Yes, right.
With that.
Right.
Relates to process, I suppose. Is that delay going to violate any statutory obligations we have for reporting?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it won't go against statutory obligations, but we do have the external audit happening at the moment, and they always check finance policies. But I think they can see it's in action, so it should be fine.
Councillor
Mayor, if the general manager's looking into this, I think there's two areas we need to take note of. The first one is confidentiality. If we're dealing with pensioners, your eligibility to be a pensioner and income testing and everything else is dealt with by Centrelink. And it's not us, and it's defined by legislation. I'd like to know if there's confidentiality issues that come in there, if we're dealing with that directly rather than as a third party when it's already been completed by Centrelink. And the second one, I'd like to know if we're looking into someone's personal circumstances and we're expending time and resources, I can see that being a significant cost to council and the cost of investigation being greater than the cost of any lost rates. And I'd love to have an opinion on what the cost of investigating that would be in staff time and organisational time.
All right, so the general manager will bring back the information. Councillor Edwards, you had a question?
My question actually is in regards to a different clause in the policy. Is that all right to ask now, or?
Yeah, I think that, because the general manager will bring back information in regard to the question from councillor Tynan. Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is, point of clarification, is around clause 4.3 of the financial hardship policy, which has, that's page 155.
Not too far off.
Are we okay? There we go.
So I note that there's a proposed change in the policy, and that's in regards to, so I'll read it out. So when hardship applications are requesting water rates, water fee and all charges to be waived, these decisions are required to be made by a formal council resolution and to be discussed in the old onset committee. Now it says closed council. Well, that's the proposed drafting change. What's the reasoning behind that? I understand maybe for individuals, but
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the language in committee does mean closed council. It's just not very blatantly obvious. So that's why we're just using ordinary language of closed council so that there's no confusion. No separate committee. It's actually it's the council that makes all hardship decisions.
Yeah. I guess a further clarification is, does that only pertain to residential ratepayers, or does that pertain to all types of ratepayers, including organisations and businesses?
All types.
All types. Okay.
Almost always.
Okay, Councillor Edwards.
See it.
Any clarification of the motion? Just read the motion to you again. Motion that the council endorses the following draft policy for public exhibition for 28 days. And if no substantial feedback is received, the policies will be considered.
It's on the screen.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to no more questions?
No, it's different, I think.
It's,
You-
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's
sir.
on the,
Yeah.
it's different words.
All right, then forget what I just told you.
Yeah.
Just read it in front of, I'll read it for you. I'll read it for you. Yeah. The council endorses the draft financial hardship policy for public exhibition for 28 days and will be back to the council for adoption after the public exhibition period, considering the additional of disclosure of personal information to the individual application. Oh,
A bit of pressure.
Looks like a document I'm told.
let's give you 2 seconds to absorb that. Right. No clarification.
We're going out.
I put the motion. All in favour? All right, good. Yeah.
I think it's
Right, we'll move on to the next one, which was an investment policy, number 6. So, have we moved in a second though?
No page.
Councillor Tyler, second. Councillor Edwards. Councillor Tynan, I take it will be on the same lines again, or you want some clarification, or is there something changed?
I'm
Question.
like to direct you to page 176. Yeah, risk management guidelines. Paragraph that describes it there, it refers to giving making to the Standards and Poor's risk agency. But it does note other risk agencies being Moody's and Fitch. Why they put it, guidelines to be adopted will be based on the Standard and Poor long-term rating system.
Based, but not given to standard.
S&P ratings will be used in the first instance, purposes of minimum portfolio requirements and maximum individual limits. What I was reading about this is that I would be thinking that Moody's, Fitch and Standards and Poor's rating would all be given like prime consideration, all three at once.
This is the question.
So through the mayor to the finance director, when you look at these systems, do you look at all three at the same time, or do you just basically focus upon in the first instance of Standards and Poor's risk?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's mainly on S&P at the moment, as per the policy.
Through the mayor to the CFO, wouldn't it be a prudent risk exercise to address the reports of all three risk rating agencies at the same time on any one investment?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so from my experience, S&P and Moody's, they are very similar. And Fitch, we can do that, but then council has to decide where the average sits in you want to follow. So that's why we are taking S&P, which is the standard worldwide.
So I'm aware of that, but I'm just wondering that sometimes rating agencies do make mistakes about things. So I believe Fitch had a big problem that a little while ago. So only bringing this up as a means to, I guess, increase the research that goes back into whether investment is proceeded with or not by covering more bases. That's my main aim in asking this. Maybe.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, we can do that. We can do S&P and Moody's if the council wishes. Fitch, to my opinion, I think if we do S&P and Moody, that's enough. So
through the mayor to the chicken and the CFO, this is only just about minimising the risk. That's the more you know, the better are you informed. That's the motivation for this.
Councillor Tyler, I asking for them to consider that, or asking to be actually formalised in the actual document?
I'm asking to formalise it by considering both the Standards and Poor's and the Moody's rating in parallel with any risk assessment.
All right, so a second part to your motion will be in regard to adding that in, then we can discuss that. Right,
Through you, Mr. Mayor, may I please just ask the director, would we have to pay extra money to get access to Moody's? Freely available.
so through you, Mr. Mayor, so our investment advisor, so there should not be any other extra cost.
Thank you. So we'll change it to Moody's instead of all Moody's and Fitch and Moody's.
Councillor, clarification, yes.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the CFO. Do you have any recommendation on how the two ratings ought to be weighted, or would you say 50-50 is good enough?
Normally, they are very similar, S&P and Moody's. Fitch is a little bit different from my experience. Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor.
Standard.
But I have to check the latest one with the investment advisor, and then I can come back and report on that.
So you'll make a recommendation at a later date about that. Thank you very much.
We'll just get the wordsmith organised for you. Any questions while we're waiting for that?
Words aren't perfect, we'll mess up.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Tiffin, yes.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Mayor, just wondering if this will add to Arvi's workload a lot, like is it sort of doubling the consideration or is it just?
It's not, doesn't have to come back.
No, this is the motion, and the motion is that, I'll read the motion out to you. You can ask me if you don't understand it. I'll just wait for 2 seconds.
No substantive feedback.
It's virtually the policy as is for 28 days with an amendment that we consider the other agency. We've been told there's no cost in regard to that.
But will it add to the workload? That was my question, just a question. Yeah.
Moody's to
Through you, Mr. Mayor, should not add to the workload. I mean, once we get this initially right in the first instance, the main thing is once we present you the results, so we have to analyze where both the ratings sits and make a decision. That's where we need to check. But I won't say anything now until I talk to the investment advisor. So then I can report back.
Thank you.
I'm going with question, if I'm right, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Question?
Actual ratings, so we're talking about AAA, AA's, A-minuses, all that sort of stuff. They're fairly broad bands. So they're probably going to be in agreements 99% of the time. Where does the state government fit into this? Because at the end of the day, they actually set the guidelines for what we can invest in, what sort of funds, and what percentages, etc., etc. Are we stepping outside of the box?
Question to the
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mr. May, when you say outside of the box, that means outside of these ratings, so.
Well, I was under the impression that these ratings, the actual rating groups and things were set by the state government.
No, so these are your global credit rating agencies who rate
Mhm.
all the financial institutions.
Yeah, I'm right
Which
with
is
that.
S&P and Moody.
Mm,
So that's a gold standard throughout the world,
mm,
which is used.
mm,
So they rate your CBAs, NABs, Westpacs, everyone, no?
mm,
Will sit under the top one, which is the AAA.
mm.
Normally government bonds, I think they also sit on number one tier, which is your D corps and all.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of we have to have at least, say, 70% invested in investments, or and no more than 40% in B plus, say, or
That's right.
an unrated ones. I noticed we've dropped unrated from
Yes,
this.
sorry, Mr. May, there's a table on page 177. That's where our spread is in
Yeah.
terms of percentages. So what we have done, we have made a change in this policy. We have taken out unrated.
Yes,
Because there is a risk exposure for the council.
and I think that's a good idea. I saw that before. Yeah.
So going forward, you don't go below,
Okay.
so which will cater to most of your financial institutions, big ones, yeah.
All right, councillor.
Including Beyond Bank, which is the local one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, councillor.
Okay. Yeah. Sort of.
These are risk management guidelines that we're talking about at the moment. Are we okay to read the motion?
And Moody.
Councillor Tyner, you also read the motion, make sure we got it right. I'll read it out to you then. The council endorses the draft revised investment policy for public exhibition for 28 days. Consider and endorse if no substantial feedback after public exhibition period. Having added
And Moody's.
and Moody's to S&P within the risk management
Just in front of.
guidelines of the policy and the removing of any reference to phishing. This way.
We need to do
These 2 things.
We've specified Moody's and S&P. Do we really need to? So we're getting rid
We
of.
can debate this motion, but we'll just get it right first. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
There's a motion in front of you. I've had a move and a second now. Does anybody want to speak against that motion?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I just think that after the word guidelines, after the word policy, and removing any reference to Fitch is just wasting words. I don't think it's necessary.
Right, is
We've been very specific. We're looking at Moody's and S&P.
that a comment, or you want to move an amendment to this?
Well, I'd prefer to see the motion without and removing any reference to Fitch.
Last move,
Don't think
second there. In fact, you're happy to do that? Move a seconder? Seconder? Who was the seconder?
Yeah.
All right, so we remove that. So that becomes, I won't read it out again. I think it's all in front of us. Anybody want to speak against the motion? Might put the motion, I think. All in favour? Right, good, thank you. Quick one. Yeah. Moving on to number 7, local preference policy. Do I have a move and a seconder? Moved by councillor. Who actually pulled it up first of all?
I think it was councillor Edwards, Mr. Mayor.
No, I think it was councillor Tynan. Oh, man.
Councillor Tyner, you pulled that, didn't
He
you?
moved it, but I thought you were confused about the seconding.
No, I can't find who actually asked it to be pulled out.
Oh.
Councillor Tyner, seconded by councillor Morris.
Yep, that's it.
Sarah.
My head off.
Right, councillor Tynan,
Doesn't matter.
the floor, you've asked for this policy to be pulled out and discussed separately.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to change something in here. If you go to page 186, it's my intent to is anyone at that page? I'm looking at the
186, yeah.
186,
Yeah.
the discount rates. I would like to see the discount range increase from 15% to maybe 17.5 and bump all those up by 2.5. The reason for doing that is to increase the likelihood that money from council will remain in our local community. And I understand by doing so, it does give local businesses an advantage, a bit bigger advantage. And that's my aim, to support council spending in the local environment.
Councillor Morris, are you happy to?
Like increasing the percentages.
Just relate for in this.
Not all relating to.
17.5, 12.5, still close to 100.
I'm happy to second it, Mr. Mayor, because I believe through the criteria, that's certainly the first concession that local preference suppliers are given, but they still will need to fill the other criteria of the tender or whatever's being asked. So that's the main one and the first one that might get them over the mark, but if there's still other criteria they'll need to fulfil. So just so I'm happy to give them some leeway in the moment of things.
Councillor Morris, do you want me to get the general manager to explain a bit to you or not?
No, I think it's only if I'm misinterpreting how the procedure works.
That is correct. So they would still have to meet all of scope
Yes, that's right.
requirements.
Councillor Wright.
A question, Mr. Mayor?
Question, yeah.
So do you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor Tynan, just want to confirm you're only proposing it on the purchases up to 5,000?
No, at
And
all.
the second one.
No,
On all of them.
for the up to 5,000, moving that to 12 or 17.5. And then for 5,000, 15K, 12.5, 15K is 7.5.
Also adding 2.5 percentage points on to each one. Okay.
Three?
To the first three, not all.
First three. Now, if I may ask, in excess of 150, my thought for that is, if we add an extra 2.5% on that to 50, that's the one that I would really like feedback from colleagues about whether you would. Can I just propose that to increase that straight out with the other ones and then debate?
It's treated quite separately in the document, I think.
I would change like that. I mean, 2.5 percentage points on the 3% is almost doubling session, and it is on very significant purchases. And I think I'd like a more detailed analysis from the staff before I considered something like that. If you're asking the question, yeah.
We've got the general manager and the chief officer, both of them in chair. Which I must say, this is was very close to my heart because I actually got this all put in all these years ago.
Do you have to recuse yourself from this?
No. I put
And we've debated it many, many times.
15 years ago.
Being a local supplier yourself.
15. I rang all the councils.
No, it comes up.
Anyway, we're getting back to you.
4 years.
Councillors, do you understand what we put forward?
Mr. Mayor, I might just raise one point. And this is where it comes from in these debates that we've had previously with this, is that you can, if you confer too much of an advantage, then you can get cost blowouts as a result of this. That is the downside of it. And so if you're going to increase it above what is currently working, then you probably really need to monitor it, because if people think they've got an extra 2%, they'll add that 2% on. So you do have to be, I get your sentiment, but this is a number that has struck a pretty good balance for quite some time. It's not perfect, and there are kickbacks. You can't just take a business because they're from your town. You expect a contractor from our town to be able to compete in Griffith and consequently in Narrandera and vice versa. Otherwise, it will damage you eventually in time. But what you do need to watch out is that this can be a recipe. If you don't get the numbers just right, for well, say inflation of quotes, extra costs.
Councillor Keane, is that a comment or are you speaking against?
It's a comment, perhaps. I'm just wondering if whether you could add to the motion as it stands something about that it needs to be monitored.
If the mover is second wants to be agreed, it will be monitored anyway, wouldn't it be, gentlemen?
We certainly can monitor and keep record of it. Mr. Mayor, the council has a responsibility to exercise fiduciary care, and I'm just concerned that these numbers have been generated because they were typically what's in a preference policy. If council wants to go to a higher level, that means you'll be paying, ultimately, you'll be paying more for something that you could get for a less amount of money. So if you could just contextualise that. I have no qualms with the proposal as it's been put forward for engagement reasons, and we can consult. But I think at the same time, maybe we as staff will go and check what the benchmarks are around the area, or not just the area, but in general in New South Wales. Because I think if we were offering preference ratios disproportionately higher to everyone else, we might not be doing the best job from a fiduciary responsibility point of view. So again, perhaps we could consult on both, like put it in as a range, and then come back to you with a report next month with that feedback of what we found out, plus any feedback from the community.
At the moment, I've got a motion on the cards at the motion, we're going to second that, but do you got
more of a comment, Mr. Mayor. You remember, I'm thinking it's probably about 8 years ago. Something similar along these lines happened, and we got a lot of nasty letters from Griffith contractors, mainly earth moving contractors and people about being shut out of the Shire. So there was quite a bit of criticism on that. Do you remember that, Councillor Morris?
Vaguely. They're actually considered local.
I was going to say, they're in our local, I think our local span,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I just want to add, I'd like to add a bit too. I don't know.
I have a question when you're ready, Mr.
Go ahead with the question. I might be able to.
To the General Manager, through Mr. Mayor. You have the time and resources to be able to articulate in your report that you bring back around this, what the actual financial impact might be on our purchasing decisions.
Through Mr. Mayor.
No, it's hard.
No, we don't have the time
No.
to do that, but we can certainly give you examples of maybe 5 things that we've done in the last 6 months.
Sounds great.
And what the difference would have been. Yeah.
Would LG New South Wales have any overarching information on that, studies on that?
I don't think so, but we can ask. We can ask. Would you like me to ask Professor Drew as well?
Yes.
I think that's a reason.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I do have another question, but please, I see the floor.
No, I was going to just ask Councillor Tynan, because he moved it. Could the words even be, instead of be given a whatever percentage, how about up to each? They're in there. Just word up to, is that reasonable? The motion's happy with that. I think just gives us some more latitude for our directors to be able to make their responsibility. Certainly the front running criteria, but then you've got all those other factors that we see.
Moving a second of the motion, you have
Not locked in.
let's get the wordsmith organised over here.
While they do that, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go
can I
ahead.
ask a question? I'd just like to ask a question from the CFO, Director of Operations, General Manager, and any councillors who'd like to enlighten me. Has anyone been approached or has anyone have a sense that the current policy is not adequate and that we are disadvantaging local businesses
Not
at our current rates?
No. They're not.
Maybe I can talk as a local contractor.
mine.
We also contracted Griffith, Lockhart, Albury, all over the place. And I know they also have local policies in their particular gambit. The business of if you put 2.5% on, they'll charge another 2.5%. What happens when you do a quote? You do your best price first time up, and wherever you get it, you haven't got another chance to change it. When you ask for a price off us, we give you a best price first time. And the whole idea was if you were within 15% of the other contract and you're a local contractor, it was better to do that to go to local people. You keep those skills here, you keep those people here. But I also understand anything higher than that, then you're actually paying more to have those skills kept here, and the ratepayer is missing out. And that those figures were the right figures at the time that most other councils had. And as far as I know, it hasn't actually affected people one way or the other.
Through you, Mr. Mayor,
Well, if I might add just to that, the state government has similar policies too, but I can't
No, they
think
do. Like,
percentages are.
if I tended to the state government, I've got to know how many apprentices I've got, how many local Indigenous people I have, how many people living in the area. We have a lot of criteria for state and federal government.
No, I have seen the state one years ago, but I couldn't tell you what the numbers are.
That's right.
it's interesting that you say that, Councillor Kidd, because my question is along similar lines. The state government actually has policies that differ depending on the size of the business and the contract. So there's an acknowledgement in many policies that a business that is going to tender you for a purchase up to $5,000 probably has a lot harder. It's probably a smaller business. If it's a local business, it's probably much smaller. Probably has a much more natural disadvantage against the larger supplier. Whereas when you get the higher up you go in the purchasing, in the quantum, you're really getting fewer companies that even exist in a small area like this. And so the need for the policy is much less. So for me, I would like to ask everyone whether they think that perhaps this is more an increase in the concession at the lower purchasing amounts is much more impactful in terms of the benefit to the local businesses, and obviously because the amount is much less impactful on our budget. So perhaps if we're going to have an increase in concessions overall, it should be more heavily weighted to the lower end of the spectrum.
That's great.
All right, at the moment, we've got this motion in front of us, as you see, right? I think, Councillor Wright, you were talking about maybe decreasing the 2.5% down to a bit lower. If you were thinking that, we can either do two things. You can either move the seconder to change it, or you debate those percentages.
I suppose we don't have to debate it now because we can see what the council staff come back with at the end of the 28 days. I just suppose I'd like to just add that concept, that logic into the mix for consideration by the general manager and us.
Yeah. Look, I think all the councillors here believe the intent behind here is we all agree with, is the percentage that we are worried about, I believe.
Sting in the tail.
You got it.
Mr. Mayor, I think I would imagine that when the council comes back and looks at all these different things, I agree that what will probably come back is what Councillor White is saying, that the first one will probably come out at 17.5 to support more local smaller businesses. Goes further at scale, it's probably going to be pushing back down towards the original.
Yeah,
That's what I imagine will happen. So I think, Councillor Wright, a lot of that will be taken care of when they do the review.
Yeah. And we get to vote on it again, so we can always alter it again if we need to.
All right, Councillor, any question of, before we put the motion forward? I take there's no more, but, I guess I'll have to quit. Is anybody against this particular motion to speak against it? No. All right, I'll put the motion. All in favour? All right, thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Moving on to page
211.
211. Time to get there. Capital work. Now, this is where I have to show Councillor Kidd, would you like to come up and just do? This is 8.2.1, isn't it? Capital works?
Yes.
Capital works. I declared interest earlier on for the proxy. I'll step out and I'll step back in again. In regard to the industrial area.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You hate food.
I was asking you to do the proxy, he'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah. To find it on. Yes. Okay, now this motion is being divided into two sections. So we'll vote first on receiving and noting the report from the quarterly capital works update with regard to the Roxy. Do I have a mover? Councillor Tyne and Councillor Nardi. Do I have anyone who'd like to ask a question or speak against?
Yes, Deputy Mayor. Just for you, Deputy Mayor, to the General Manager, will you be getting the type of updates that we were getting for the initial project, the Roxy Stage 1? So when they were coming in presenting, are we going to get those type of updates, or is this the only type of update we're going to get?
Mr. Mayor, it's intended because it's a much lower value project now, 1.6 million. It's gone back to the normal capital works version.
You're happy with that, Councillor Edwards?
Yes, no.
Okay. Anyone else have a question or statement to make? No. It's free for me to put it to a vote. All those in favour of noting that? Carried. Thank you. Councillor Weston, you can return.
That's a good point. Want to ask for more information more often.
Yeah, I had the microwave off the community.
Go in, bud.
I know mucking around.
Thank you, Councillor. The second part of that was the industrial. Did you deal with both together?
No, just.
No.
The second part, do you have a movement seconder for the second report in regard to the industrial area? But Nardi, second by Councillor Mayton. Good. Any discussion?
The question, Mr. Mayor, I just noticed the estimated completion date is June 2025. And we've got a couple of things there with the project schedule, subdivision due date end of July. I was just wondering if there's any update on how that's proceeding, please.
To the director.
You, Mr. Mayor. Completion, from our point of view at the time, was construction completion. We've had some issues with survey drawing subsequent. Gone back for their fourth iteration. Yeah, we get through, but completion and final certificates wasn't part of that original date. So June was actually the construction.
So can I allowed to ask?
Oh, yeah.
And I realise that some of the matters are out of your hands now, but you're hoping in the foreseeable few months.
Through the chair, we've put through all of the certificates that we can. There's a bit of a black box process that happens now in terms of registration of the certificate. And that's a little bit frustrating because we can't seem to follow that. It goes into a portal and then it doesn't sort of go anywhere, and you sort of sit with your hands out. As soon as you turn around, it'll fall out and you'll miss it. But it should be imminent.
And could I ask then, when would those that have bought the land, like are hoping to be able to occupy, when contract will be exchanged and final pricings occurred and things.
Pity that Michelle isn't here, otherwise I would have referred it to her. But through the chair, my understanding is that negotiations and sale documentation is already changing. That's
Correct.
my understanding.
That is correct.
That's great to hear.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Rice.
Good to hear.
Any questions? All right, I might put the motion on favour. Yes, thank you. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to people and cultural matters. Item 8.3.1, all staff to update Tuesday, 2nd December 2025 on page 217. Recommendation. Yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes to catch up.
I'm happy to move that, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Kidd, second by councillor Mayton. Any discussion? Question.
Mr. Mayor, I know that's, the motion is saying that all council operations on Tuesday, 2nd December 2025 will close for the day. Will there still be, there's an emergency number though for council, isn't there?
That was covered in.
Case.
That is correct. Mayor, our after hours service will be requested to take all calls. And then if there is an emergency, they will then ring the staff who are on duty. So that will be covered. I did also want to mention, councillors, while the resolution is about closing all services, if there are services that we can possibly find well-experienced casuals to run, for example, the library or the swimming pool or LMAG, we will endeavour to do that. But at least if we can get your blanket approval, if we can't find suitable people, we at least have the option.
Just have a question, just in relation, will that include Leeton swimming pool that afternoon, or will the staff?
It will include so we will look for casuals for the Leeton swimming pool so that our permanent staff can participate.
Just the time. Yeah, that's all. And the other part of that, sorry.
We should be able to get casual.
I was just worried about maybe the learn to swim programs that sometimes are scheduled at that time of year. I'm not sure of the scheduling for this year, but they're usually scheduled over a 2-week period. But
That'll be right.
we will do our level best to make sure nothing really gets impacted. But the main administration office would definitely be closed.
Councillor Wright.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the the Executive Manager of People and Culture, and the General Manager, if she wishes. Would you like to speak to the significance of the Development Day and what it actually adds to the culture of the council and our hardworking staff? Because it's a little bit of information there, but I've actually never noticed that the council's closed for a day a year. So I'd love to hear about it.
Of course. So through you, Mr. Ware. So this used to happen years ago. So it's something that we're picking back up. It's also part of our cultural development journey that we've started with the support of the DATNA group that we're working on as well. It's an opportunity to take the day out for all the team, including the outdoor crew. So we're all together. So that's very, very important. And it's a lot of feedback that we do get that we just can't get everybody together for one day. So that's probably our driving force, to get everybody together for one day. And the agenda is basically what is in the report. So we will really focus on what our culture looks like and working together. Then we'll also give an opportunity to reward the team through the year with their service awards, if they've got significant anniversaries. Instead of doing that individually, I think it's really important to do that as a collective group. Go through what's pressing business-wise within council as well, and then wrapping up for end of year of what the end of year look like. So in a nutshell, it could be like a little roadshow, so to speak. So it'll have different pockets but primarily talking about our culture, talking about rewarding our team for what's happened through the year, and then also with anniversaries, and then wrap up for the financial year with results as well.
Thank you, Executive Manager. I just think that we just see there's been a lot of human resources trends over the last decade. And I know that where I work outside of council is a move towards more dispersed teams. And I think recognition and culture can suffer from that. So I think it's really good to see some of the trends that haven't worked out being discarded and moving back to something more collective. I think that's really good. So good work.
Very much. Yeah, I concur with that. Very good. And we had a move and a seconder. Any more questions before I put the motion?
I just had a quick question, Mr. Mayor. Can we help Jackie with filling in, or do you have to be qualified casuals?
General manager.
Depends what it is.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. We'll take that on notice if you're available, councillor Tiffin. But yes, people would need to be well experienced, lots of inductions and all the rest. But we do appreciate the offer. Thank you.
Thank you. No more debate. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Okay, thank you very much. Right, moving on to our last item before we go to the confidential item. This is council activities report. Now, I just have to mention that I'm not supposed to be doing this, as you know, right? But we'll do it. I think the new policy of meetings will be coming down the line, so we might not be able to do it at all. I'll just go around the table, councillor Kidd.
Yeah, just very, very quickly, Mr. Mayor, I think most of us got to a number of events at the Art Deco Festival. It was a hoot. It was really good to see Chelmsford Place being involved in it. Obviously, other buildings that we have, and of course, the Roxy is centrepiece. I think Art Deco has been limping along without its 2-star attractions for quite some time, and to have those up and going was fantastic. I'd just like to a big shout out to all our event staff, our other council staff that helped, and all the volunteers that were involved in the different initiatives. I seem to spend a lot of time putting chairs up and down at the Roxy, and you know, it was hard work, but gee, it was worth it. The events were fantastic, so congratulations there. The other one was congratulations all involved there. I was privileged to represent the mayor at the Leeton Inner Wheel changeover on the 19th of July, and apart from some very pleasant company and a lovely meal, it was most interesting. And you know, our service clubs are you know, like our volunteers and our charities and our churches and whatever, are the icing on our cake. And Inner Wheel, very interestingly, has been going in Leeton continuously for 68 years, which should be mentioned, and it's a big pat on the back to keep something going through several generations. And it's actually the third oldest inner wheel club in New South Wales, so that in itself is quite an achievement. So big shout out to all the ladies, and thank you for a lovely afternoon all, if you're watching. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Morris.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, just reiterating, the Art Deco Festival was wonderful. The weather was a bit kinder to us this year, and and it certainly was lovely to see crowds in Chelmsford Place and the Roxy starring. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I represented you at the 100-year anniversary dinner over at the Yenda Hall for Yenda producers, which was a wonderful night. And you know, it's wonderful to think of a co-op that's still alive and started 100 years ago in Yenda, and is thriving. And I did learn on the night, which I didn't realise, they've even expanded now down into Victoria. Yes. So they have about 7 stores, large ag supply stores. So they're getting bigger and bolder and stronger, which is wonderful to see. And there's such a people often don't understand the amount of business so that it's wonderful to have in our community. And it's not only the agricultural products that they sell, it's also the agronomists and everything that's tied to those kind of professional careers here in our community that we often, unless it crosses your path, you don't become a member. So it was a very pleasant evening, and thank you. I got to sit on the table with Susan Lee, so I got to sit with the
right, yeah.
It was right at the head table. So, but it was a very successful night, and a great feeling all round. And there's one lady who I used to deal with about 35 years ago in accounting practice, and she's just retired after 63 continuous years. So, and she's a bit of an icon. Anyone that's had anything to do with the end producers knows Kay in the office. But yeah, what a wonderful level of service, and there was quite a few that had really long distinguished careers with organisation. So anyway, thank you for the honour to be able to represent you. Thank you.
Councillor Edward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On top of various informal engagements and informal community consultations, I attended the 10th July Art Deco Festival opening at the LMAC, and I also attended various Art Deco Festival activities throughout that weekend from the 12th to 13th. And today I attended the NAIDOC flag raising ceremony, which was I'll echo what Councillor Kidd said, was a very touching ceremony, especially being Aboriginal myself. It's great to see how inclusive this town is. And we also attended the ID economic update this afternoon.
Councillor Tiffin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As everybody is aware in the room, I've had a small leave of absence over the last month, just due to family and personal reasons, but I've made myself useful holding a few meetings with some contacts, with a view to building some collaborations for the town, including finding a very lovely Leeton expat who's got a quite senior position at the National Museum in Canberra and is very interested in exploring partnerships to, work to save or boost the Whitten Museum and to boost the museum, or our network of museums in our shire. And yes, I was very jealous to miss Art Deco this year. It looked absolutely amazing. So I'm going to book my tickets for next year.
Thank you, Councillor Tiffin. Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also attended the launch of the Art Deco Festival, and then I saw the lovely singing girls later at the Circa, which was really cool. They just have such a great vibe. The Just a Farmer film event was very enlightening.
Yes.
That was really good. I'm now the president of the Light Up Leeton Committee. You're welcome. I don't know if that.
Congratulations.
I know that on the day the real president is Santa, but I don't know if I get a special hat or anything.
He's looking for succession planning.
Yeah. You'll all have seen my very embarrassing video on Facebook. Thank you very much, Terry. But I do encourage people to apply for the heritage grants. They are essential. They are a relatively small amount of money that the council spends, but I really think it makes a huge difference. The financial sustainability workshop impressed upon me how big of a process this is going to be from now to 2027. And I was very honoured to attend the NAIDOC flag raising today, but also last Friday night, the Rural Fire Service for MIA District had their long service medal presentation where I represented you, Mr. Mayor, and gosh, the length of time people spend volunteering their time, it's really, they're not hopping around from place to place. We've got 40-year, 50-year service medals.
Phenomenal.
It really is phenomenal. I think that's exactly the word. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Wright. Councillor Maton.
Yes, so I also attended the Art Deco launch as well as attended Chelmsford Place over the weekend. So probably don't need to say anything more apart from well done on a great event to everyone involved, the volunteers and the council staff. We had an additional youth council meeting a week back, planning some stuff for later in the year, which I think will be great to bring to fruition, as well as the Yanco Town Improvement Committee, who have their event on August 9th out at the Yanco football ovals. They've got an outdoor screening of cool runnings. So they're mixing it up this year. They've done the markets for a few years and yeah, they thought they'd try something different. So hopefully they get a good crowd and good weather for that. Other than that, that's it from me.
Councillor Tynan.
I sheepishly declare that I have not been active in the community for the past few weeks. Being
on holiday.
Thank you, Councillor Nadi. Councillor Nadi.
Look at all your legs.
I do echo everybody's sentiments on the Art Deco Festival. I also did attend two of the events as well, and you all missed, apart from the people that I did see there, an amazing event at the Roxy for Smile with the gentleman who did the Charles Chaplin production. One thing that I found very intriguing was that he made one stop to come into Leeton. He normally performs in San Diego, Los Angeles,
Leeton and then
Sydney. And it was absolutely fantastic. I wish that there was more time to see him, but he performed extremely well. It was absolutely fantastic. I've also had lots of photo opportunities with some of the youth development grant recipients. I'd like to say congratulations to not only the two that I was voted with, but also with all of our youth within the Shire who apply for these grants. It does help assist them with travelling for sports in and outside of our communities, and I hope that people continue to apply for those. I've as well attended, we had our Youth Additional Council meeting with some exciting stuff, as Councillor Madden was saying, for the end of the year. And then, Mr Mayor, I'd like to know how you managed to split yourself into 4 on Friday night. Councillor Kidd attended something, you attended something, Councillor Morris attended something, Councillor Wright attended something, and I also attended the Southern Sports Academy annual presentation night in Wagga on your behalf. I'm sorry, but you've lost your seat now. You're no longer welcome. I'm now in place of that. I've been told.
No problem, no problem.
Just joking. Great night. Celebrating the Southern Sports Academy, which is such an amazing group of people who just do a fantastic job. It was so great to see so many Leeton people within our Shire be nominated for awards, not just children, but also, some of our staunch sports people who had come through the ages and, like coaches and whatnot within our community. I was luckily enough to sit at the table with Michael McCormack, MP of Wagga, the Mayor of Wagga and the Mayor of Snowy Valley, and had some very interesting conversations, which I will share with you guys in future.
Excellent.
And then obviously we had a youth council meeting again yesterday for analysing and recapping for the end of the year. So
good, thank you very much. Thank you. Look, I must start off straight away by thanking those councillors who represent the Mayor. I think it's very important that we're out and about, talking to people, networking, getting information. So thank you very much for that. And I think it's important that we do attend those rather than give an apology. I think it's great that you, Councilman, on for it. Thank you very much. Art Deco, what can I say about Art Deco? What I can say, thank you for all the people who helped out, but the people who I met who came from out of town to our town just love our town. They just love it. They reckon it's fantastic. Really, really good. Sometimes we don't realise how good it is, but it was great. Thank you for everybody who was involved in that. And when I was at the Roxy, the farmer market, the farmer movie, did anybody go to the farmer movie?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was pretty powerful about that.
Farmers
inside on farms, that was very powerful. And we had a venue that they could actually show it. We didn't have a venue, it wouldn't be shown here in Leeton.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. That was really good, I did it, myself and the general manager, we attended the water amendment public hearing about water buybacks and restoring the rivers. I think they heard us. A lot of people gave submissions. They're sympathetic. The state government, no. The federal government is what we want to do things for us. But the state government is sympathetic, and we told the state government to sort of harden up and get involved with the Victorian government and everything else. But we've got to tell them so importance about having our water through here for our businesses. My businesses, it brings on people who live here, work here, and enjoy it. So that was good. At the ARIC committee meeting, there will be a report, of course, on ARIC, but I must congratulate our staff. There've been lots of ticks of good work. Eric, and on the whole, they're very pleased with us, and that's very good. 72nd Rotary Ball, that's where I was enjoying myself. Everybody, sorry on that Friday night. But 72 years, that's not bad, is it? Pretty good, pretty good. And then Also, I attended NAIDOC, which is great, cross-section, all the different schools, all the different people, different backgrounds. I know it's the middle of the day and almost the middle of the week, but it was great to have that. And thank you, staff, for doing that. And on the whole, it just gives you a great feeling being a member of our community, meeting people, getting involved. So thank you very much for that. Right, that concludes that section. I have to ask our gallery and Booker, we're going to move into, I'll have to ask, I'm moving a second, move into a confidential part.
No, no.
Very much. Good.
We got to say the words first.
You got to say the words.
Yes,
One words.
It's in rewriting.
Just bear with me, everybody. All right, thank you, councillors. It is now recommend that council moves into closed council to consider business of item 11.1, item 11.2, and item 11.3. I need to move in a second. Second part of that, in accordance with section 10A, 10.D, section 10D of the Local Government Act 1993.
Mayor, I believe we're still on live recording.
No, yes, it's correct. We haven't gone into closed.
Okay.
Just closing to go into it.
Very good.
Excuse me, Mr Mayor, I think it's item 10.1, not 11.1.
Well, I believe.
Let me know. If you ask.
Get on the ball tonight.
I'm not on the ball at all.
Perhaps I'll start again. Thank you, council. Is now recommended. Thank you, council. It is now recommended that council, one, moves into closed council to consider business item 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3. Point 2, in accordance with section 10A 2C and section 10D of the Local Government Act 1993, the public and press will be excluded from the meeting to enable council to determine items listed in the confidential matters, as the report contains information that would, if disclosed, confer a commercial advantage on a person with whom the council is conducting or propose to conduct business. Point 3, and that the report relevant to the subject business be withheld from access to the media and public as required by section 11.2 of the Local Government Act 1993. Can I call for a move and a seconder for this recommendation, please? Moved by councillor.
Please do.
What confused me because we asked the gallery to already move before we even said.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
I put the motion? All right, thank you. Close council at 8 o'clock.